Hello, my name is Lynn Kelly, and I'm the author of the Darklands series. This is a four-book series about a world named the Darklands that exists between life and death and time, and two siblings, Webb Thompson, who is 17 years old, and Sundown Thompson, his 14-year-old sister, who suddenly find themselves trapped there. The story follows them as they try to figure out what exactly this world is, why it's there, how they got there, and most importantly, how they can leave. Along the way, they meet a variety of characters, some good, some not so good, and some just basically evil. They also discover that in order to survive in this world, they have to tap into some inherent magical abilities that they did not know they had. The series came out in 2011 with Darklands Requiem. After that was the second book in the series, Darklands The Notwhere, was released. This one was actually nominated in Goodreads for the Best Science Fiction Fantasy Book of the Year. The third book in the series is Darklands War of the Sentinels, and the fourth and final book in the series, which was released in late 2018, is Darklands The Forgotten. What I'm going to do is read a brief part of the first book. The story begins where Webb and Sundown basically wake up in the Darklands. And as they're trying to understand what's going on, they look around them and all they can see is the greenest grass they've ever encountered and the darkest, scariest looking sky they've ever seen before. And this is all that surrounds them. Suddenly, on the horizon, they hear what sounds like a buzzing sound, which then transforms and graduates into a growling sound. And they know something's after them, so they start to run, but they're not sure what it is. We pick them up in mid-pursuit as I'm reading here. Webb shaded his eyes with his hand and squinted. Between heaving breaths, he was finally able to see what was chasing them. They were gelatinous forms, watery with a dull, milky gray sheen about them. From this distance, it was impossible to determine their size, but they were loosely spherical and palpitating, pulsating larger and smaller at random intervals. There was something almost serene about the way they glazed over the pastoral landscape, like dewdrops rolling down a blade of grass. Had it not been for the terrifying guttural sounds they emitted, he might have stood and watched their mesmerizing movements. He turned and sprinted to catch up with his sister, terror again renewed. The growling by now had taken on a shrieking quality, accompanied by a low, unholy moaning. "Come on," Webb screamed as he ran up beside her and took her hand. "We've got to run faster." But run to where? There was nothing to hide them. Webb made a reluctant glance back and saw that the creatures had already overtaken the area where he had stopped to watch their advance only moments before. It was then that the gut-wrenching futility of the moment hit him. There was no choice. He and Sundown couldn't possibly escape. Those things were just too fast. Yet, through the fog of hopelessness, one piercing thought run through Webb's mind. Maybe Sundown could still get away. Sundown felt her brother's hand leave hers, and she turned to find Webb fixated on their monstrous pursuers, feet planted firmly and fists balled in defiance to getting against a charging horde of watery abominations at least twice his size. She started to scream when out of the corner of her eye she spotted a blur of movement in the distance and spun wildly to see something black darting towards them at lightning speed. Sundown swung back around, intent on telling Webb about this new threat, but she never got the chance. Webb quickly threw his arms out, creating a barrier between her and the monsters. "Sundown, keep going," he cried over the monsters' harsh growls. They would reach him any second now. In desperation, he closed his eyes and charged towards the nearest creature and sprang upon it, fists flying. For a moment, Webb felt as if he'd splashed into an icy cold body of water, but then the sensation violently changed into that of searing pain, like his body and soul were being dissolved at the seams. He wanted to scream, but was afraid to open his mouth for fear that the burning liquid would find its way inside him. Then, just as suddenly, the pain stopped, replaced by a dull ache that pierced its way into his bones. This sounds like something you're interested in. You can find it pretty much online at any retail outlet that carries books. It's available hard copy and e-copy. If you want more information, feel free to email me. I'm at Lynn, L-Y-N, I, Kelly, K-E-L-L-Y, @verizon.net. Thank you and good reading.